is comprised of about 50 countries and is located mostly in the Eastern Hemisphere of the Northern Hemisphere. Across the entirety of Europe, including both European Union and non-European Union countries, there are thousands of universities, or tens of thousands, considering the diverse range of educational institutions and the varying sizes of countries within Europe. The Association of African Universities, AAU, Africa's apex higher education organization, in its partnership drive to forge closer collaboration between universities in Africa and Europe, signed a memorandum of understanding with the University of Nottingham in January 2023 for the latter to host the AAU Europe office in the university. On 6th March 2024, a 6-member high-powered delegation of the AAU comprising the president of the association, Professor Bakri Osman Saeed, the Secretary General, Professor Olushola Bandele Oyewole, the Director of Research and Programs, Professor Frederick Atwama, the Director of Knowledge Management and ICT Services, Ms. Nodumo Dlamini, the Partnerships Manager, Mr. Ransford Okwebi Bekwen, and the Senior Publications Officer, Mrs. Felicia Nkrumah Kwagbeji, traveled to the University of Nottingham for the inauguration of the European Regional Office. Other dignitaries included a delegation from AAU member universities in Africa and Professor Sunungurai Dominica Chikarande, the Vice Chancellor of Women's University in Africa, which hosts the AAU Southern Africa Regional Office, SARO. University of Nottingham's Vice Chancellor, Professor Shearer West, and AAU President, Professor Bakri Osman Saeed, took turns to welcome the delegates and shared a few thoughts.
As President and Vice Chancellor of Nottingham, I'm delighted to formally open this launch event for the Association of African Universities Europe Regional Office. In conjunction with our friend and AAU President, Professor Bakri Osman Saeed, the University of Nottingham and our School of Education are proud to host this office, which is set to become a critical part of the future discourse between higher education institutions across Africa and Europe. Based on our Jubilee campus and under the leadership of our Professor Juliet Tonlana, who has also been appointed as the UNESCO Chair in International Education and Development, the office will serve as a conduit for continental collaboration across research, advocacy, and policy development for years to come.
I cannot say how thankful we are for you, the University of Nottingham, for hosting this very important regional office for us. And I would like to recognize the joint effort of our Secretary General, Professor Olushola Oyewole, Professor Juliet, and the staff for the tireless efforts they have put, which culminated in the establishment of this very important office. We consider this a historic occasion for our organization because we believe that this international collaboration is absolutely critical for improving the skills and capabilities of current and future workforce in Africa.
AAU's Secretary General, Professor Oyewole, and Professor Robert Mukaya, Pro-Vice Chancellor for Global Engagement at the University of Nottingham, also shared their thoughts.
The office that we are setting up is a way of connecting University of Nottingham, universities in Europe, to other universities in Africa. I look at collaboration between universities in Africa and universities in Europe as a strategy for development. Quite often, this type of collaboration comes up in various forms. It may involve research partnership, which we believe that we started to discuss even with the University of Nottingham.
we have here. It's really important for people to meet and share ideas. And the meeting place should be a place for everybody, absolutely. Today we are thinking about collaboration between institutions in Europe and Africa. I think one may want to reflect on the relationship and the interactions between Europe and Africa from an historical context, and that is something that is useful to reflect on, and how then the partnerships have developed.
Strengthening universities' collaboration between Europe and Africa. A second panel discussion focused on advancing the research ecosystem between African and European higher education sectors.
Resources are not homogeneous across our partners and our member universities, so it means that we have to leverage on where our strengths are and then feed it back into areas where there's lack. So it's also very important. And then the issue about mutual accountability is also something that will determine the success of the partnership or intervention.
Some academic initiatives on Africa being implemented by University of Nottingham, the Association of Commonwealth Universities, Ethical Data Initiative, and the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers were also shared by the institution's representatives at the launch.
The AAU has identified the need for capacity strengthening for senior leadership within their member universities. This is in line with its mission and vision, which Juliet outlined for us earlier, which aims to support its member institutions in meeting national, continental and global needs.
Our task and our purpose is very similar to the AAU. Our mission is to make the world a better place for higher education. We have a large policy and advocacy role within the Commonwealth because we are a accredited organisation. We can join the Commonwealth education ministers and government ministers meeting to make a case to lobby for.
Professor Juliet Todlana, a professor of international education and development at the University of Nottingham, who is also a UNESCO chair in international education and development, and further doubles as the coordinator of the AAU European Regional Office, also gave a presentation on the upcoming activities and event of the AAU Europe Regional Office.
Africa can be at the center of this operational strategy. And as someone from Nottingham, and we were looking to network, and our chair, we had framed it so that our focus is Africa and also Asia. But, listening to him, I just thought, this is what we need, as UNESCO, as this chair that is saying we want to focus on Africa, this is the right path.
The array of invitees from sister organizations in Europe presented an opportunity for networking. The climax of the launch was a symbolic handing over of a plaque and an AAU flag from both the President and Secretary General of the Association to Professor West. The Europe Regional Office now adds to the list of continental offices that the AAU has opened in the past 5 years to facilitate intellectual discourse between and among universities both in Africa and Europe.
I am Professor Bakri Osman Saeed, the President of the Association of African Universities, and I am here to participate in the launching of the Europe Regional Office for the Association of African Universities, which we consider a very important landmark for the Association of African Universities. The Association of African Universities is the voice of higher education in Africa and is concerned about making higher education work for the African people and having significant impact on their lives. And we believe in international cooperation, which will help us in Africa to realize the potential of higher education and help our citizens to improve the current and future skills and capabilities of our workforce, to change the demographic dividend of Africa, which is this large population of young people, into a source of economic progress for their communities. It's amazing, honestly. I'm really amazed at everything. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Professor Shearer West, the Vice Chancellor of Nottingham University, and to thank Nottingham University and her colleagues. And I single out Professor Juliet, who has been working tirelessly with us. I thank them very much for hosting this office, and for the group of talented women and men we've seen come forward this morning with all the proposals for projects and collaborations. So, I mean, every minute goes, we really become more excited about this project, and we feel that if we can actually deliver on these proposals, a lot of good will come out of this regional office to the well-being of African people.
I'm Anne Anderson from the UK National Commission for UNESCO. I chair the UKNC, and I'm delighted that we have this new potential relationship with the Association of African Universities through the University of Nottingham Regional Office. Professor Juliet is one of our UNESCO chairs, and Africa higher education is an area of priority for UNESCO. We're really keen to support genuine partnerships addressing the Campus Africa priority in a way that brings benefit to Africa, but also to us in the UK. Our role is to bring UNESCO to the UK and the UK to UNESCO. And we think working with this regional office will be a great way of really making progress on some of the key important directives around sustainable development and education, lifelong learning. I'm really excited about working with the office going forward.
I am Professor Olushola Oyewole. I'm the Secretary General of the Association of African Universities with headquarters in Accra, Ghana. Today is historical for us in Association of African Universities in that for the very first time, we are establishing a regional office in Europe. And this regional office is located in this University of Nottingham. And it's not just launching the regional office, but also rolling out the projects that will be featured in this regional office. One, they are going to facilitate research collaboration within the African continent. Secondly, they are going to help us to build the capacities in some unique areas such as artificial intelligence, such as research management within the continent. For example, the projects we are having with European universities, they are projects supported by the European Union. Our intention is that we will now let them know that we have a regional office in Nottingham University, and then see what we can do to include Nottingham University in the agenda of our conversation in these various projects.
Because KCA University became a member of the AAU just 2 years ago, we are very excited for that association. And we come from the private sector. Many a times when these associations are made to champion research, teaching excellence, especially within African continent, they leave away a very important constituent, and that's the private institutions. Our university, where I am the Vice Chancellor and CEO, has about 23,000 strong students and about 600 staff. These are people who would ordinarily be excluded from this kind of exposure, and I'm motivated to be here to look for these opportunities and extend the networks and partnerships and collaborations that are available, not only within the African continent, but using the AAU as a vehicle to reach to our European partners, as it has been demonstrated by the earlier speakers.
My name is Beate Knight. I'm the head of programs at the Association of Commonwealth Universities. We are running programs in my team that benefit our members, mainly focused on research and capacity strengthening. I think having a European office, it's nice in terms of location. So the ACU is based in London. Nottingham is 2 hours away. It will be really easy to talk to and to meet in person, to discuss our potential projects together, and to tap into the wider membership of the AAU across Africa. And to increase collaboration, we can facilitate between our members, which are also based in Africa, but also based in Asia, in Europe. And it's a good opportunity to increase our collaboration activities, and to have that spatial closeness will really help. We are particularly interested in supporting research management structures across our membership. And we are currently working on a project together to develop a comprehensive report on what is the status of research management support across African universities, put that into a context, into a global context with the data we have from other universities across our network, and then really work together to help strengthen capacity of research support at African universities together with other technical partners across the continent.
Is that we've emphasized that in this regional office we are going to promote equitable partnerships. We are also going to promote mutual learning between Europe and Africa. In terms of other regional offices, I think that this is a model in that we are not just setting up offices, we are going to connect these offices to some activities that will enhance the quality of higher education in Africa. I should say that Nottingham came into the picture through the outreach efforts of Professor Juliet. I think Nottingham University has in its agenda a special program for Africa, and the extent this program that Nottingham University is in line with the vision of AAU.
I am the coordinator of the Association of African Universities Europe Regional Office. What has interested us to bring the office to Nottingham is because of our great work and our interest in real development in Africa. So we took this as an opportunity to make sure that we can do that in an impactful way. What we showed you today are only a few of the many programs that we are already developing and running. So we are going to be looking at internationalization of higher education. We are going to be providing a platform for colleagues in Africa to engage around this very important topic, linking it to sustainability and transnational education. So our strategy is strategic partners. So we are going to be looking for strategic partners in Europe because, as you have rightly said, the continent is huge. So we will identify strategic partners in the UK, where we are situated, and then in Europe more widely. And this will help us to ensure that we reach all the interesting work that is going on in Europe and be able to link that work to Africa.
My motivation is coming from the fact that as Women's University in Africa, we are hosting the AAU Southern Africa Regional Office. So I've come here to learn and also to network with stakeholders within the EU office. I've learned quite a number of things, but I'll just mention two. One of the things that I've learned is about the equitability and sustainability of the collaboration between AAU and the EU office, which I believe also applies to our regional office in Southern Africa. The other thing that I've also learned is the multi-stakeholder approach to collaboration, which collaboration goes beyond collaboration of academic institutions to other institutions that are actually critical to the internationalization of higher education and also broadly to higher education in our different regions.
I think that this has really been a very good opportunity for people who are working in anything related to Africa or things that even have global impact to come around and have a chat. Because networking is very, very important in scientific research. And in coming here to the Association of African Universities event, I think it's a very important platform to bring together people who are researching on the continent. And that being said, students are very, very important because we are the next generation of researchers. So it is good to bring us in and have a conversation around the things that we are doing and the things that you intend to send Africa to, or the level that you intend to put Africa, so that we have an idea of the direction that we are going. And we start incorporating that into our research and the way we think, right from the base till we get to the top. So yes, I'll be very happy to invite other people to come and experience it for themselves. I think this event should happen very regularly because I think if students come, they would enjoy the sort of networking and the information they get from here.
I'm Lucy Cooker. I'm an Associate Professor in the School of Education here at the University of Nottingham, and I'm on the steering group of the AAU Europe Regional Office, and it's a privilege and a pleasure for us to be hosting the ERO here at the University of Nottingham. The benefits of the office, I think, are enormous for us here at Nottingham, but also more widely within the UK and beyond into Europe. And I really see our role as being a conduit to other universities in Europe, to be working with other universities and the AAU, to be drawing European universities into the work and the projects that we're doing with the AAU, and also to think about how we can leverage some of the European funding to support those projects. We would love to hear from partner universities in Europe and in the UK. If they're interested in working with us, please do get in touch. Our email address is info.aauero@nottingham.ac.uk. Please contact us. We would love to hear from you, and we're really excited about working together.
I am the Director of Operations, Communications, Policy and Partnerships at the Ethical Data Initiative, which is an initiative between two universities, one here in the UK and one on mainland Europe. So Exeter University here in the UK and the Technical University of Munich in Munich, Germany. So the initiative focuses on bringing together stakeholders, diverse stakeholders, to help solve the big issues around data ethics. We want to create a neutral platform where these conversations can be had. With the African Association of Universities and also the University of Nottingham collaboration, we've been organising a series of informative discussions. So the Ethical Discussion Series, which is broadcast on AAU TV, it can be found on the AAU TV website, to essentially amplify the voice of African universities and Africa in general in this global debate. We are looking at expanding the discussion series. Towards the end of last year, we also began a global campaign on data ethics in education. So the idea, because obviously education is a big leveler, we want to train the next generation of data science students and computer science students and research professionals in the ethics of their craft, so that we can start to change minds and start to change attitudes around data ethics and help to bolster the solving of issues in that way.
I hope that this office here will bring more collaborations with African students here at the University of Nottingham, first of all, and then African students in Europe, to bring more collaboration between universities in UK and the universities in Europe and the universities in Africa to co-create and create more collaborations, co-create technologies, co-create a capacity development between students, and then also students here in UK, students in Europe, and then students in Africa.